Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be our final weekly update on the Basement Digout series we got going on right now. As you can see, the front entryway has been cleared, all of our stuff and material has been removed, and it's on to the final steps in this process. The guys were able to come in and get this poured a few days ago, and it's cured, so we're going to go take a look at that. We still have some of our material here. We're still getting things wrapped up, but overall, we are done with this project, and we're looking at a final product. A few things to note here. You can see that we dug down this section a little bit, and then we put a small footer here on the outside to kind of seal that section right there for a little bit more strength. And if you peer in there, you can actually see the final floor. As I mentioned before, still grabbing some of our materials. We got our conveyor here that we got to come grab here this week as well. But overall, looking nice. Let's go ahead and hop down there and take a look at what we got. Making our way inside, you can see the entry hole from before. It's a little bit bigger and it has a fresh saw cut on it for the window well that's going to go there. Spinning around, you can see the final floor that we put in here. A little bit of that vapor barrier seeping through on the sides for that moisture control, and then the expansion joint above that. But taking a wide view here, looking at everything that we've done, you can see that we finally have a finished product and a fully dug out basement. You can see the saw cut is finished as well, and that step from last week that I was talking about going in there. But taking a closer look at this, you can see that the vapor barrier is sticking through, as I mentioned. And then if you look closely, you can see this kind of black little line right there. That's the expansion joint as well. So that just stops it from pushing all the way up against there and gives it a little bit of flexibility in that final floor slab. Walking over this way, we're going to peer into the existing basement from before. As I mentioned, there's that little step, and then we did a little bit of pouring where they dug out for their plumbing. You can see there's a little bit of a crack on that edge right there that we got to come in and patch just from the pre-existing concrete that was already there, so it was a little bit hard to mix together and align properly. But here's that window well that I was talking about before, a little bit bigger than before, and a fresh saw cut on that so they can get that ready to go and brought down to the final depth of the basement for that window well. Finally, last thing to showcase from last week, they had their kind of wooden barrier surrounding their plumbing, and then we finished around that so it has a little bit of an air gap between that, and you can really see that on this one right here. And to wrap up this walkthrough, here's an even better look at the pre-existing basement that was already here and the kind of fill job that we did to cover up their plumbing trench that they had. But with that said, that's the walkthrough, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Brino. Here are their cameras right here that we used to film this whole thing. These things are super lovely. If you haven't seen any of our previous videos, we use these things on almost all of our jobs to get these time-lapse videos to you. So super nifty, super nice. This is their newer model right here. Have absolutely fallen in love with this thing, and it's so amazing. But with that said, let's see what it recorded for this week. Hopping into the time lapse, you can see that the major thing that occurred was just getting this thing ready for the pour. So they brought in their vapor barrier with some expansion joint, and then you can see they had some vapor barrier tape to kind of patch their bigger pieces together so we had no holes coming up through that for moisture control. And finally, we brought in the pump truck to pour this bad boy. So you can see they were in and they were out, and the finishers were also in and out. So super quick process when it comes to the final pour, and just like that, we're left with a final product. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to bring us to the end of the video. Keep a lookout for the full start to finish on this project. And with that said, we will see you in next week's video. Later.